Ben, tell us about Pharmageddon.
Yes, well, you would think that after the past few years, the pharmaceutical industry would be reflecting and considering how it might change. But something came up on my feed over the weekend that tells me a different story, that actually they're doubling down and they're going after aggressive growth and profit. So let me introduce you to Pharmageddon.
Safe, traditional, old-fashioned, rigid, risk-averse, conservative. These are all words used to describe the pharmaceutical industry on a daily basis. But it has to be that way, right? We're dealing with life and death here. Or does it? Pharmageddon New York is just around the corner. And this is an event where our industry isn't just making failure optional, we're actually encouraging it. Because if you're not willing to fail, if you're not willing to try, you're never going to really succeed either. Don't be one of those people that sits on the sidelines and says, pharma needs to be disrupted, but you're not willing to roll up your sleeves and make it happen. Embrace the chaos. I'll see you in New York.
Well, that's common purpose agenda right there, Ben.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, you kind of want the pharmaceutical industry to be risk averse, don't you? And conservative and to move slowly. But that is the move fast and break things, Silicon Valley mindset and ideology brought to the pharmaceutical industry. It's absolutely crazy to see. I mean, just the name of the event alone, Pharmageddon. I mean, who came up with that and thought that that was a good idea? You know, and the name of the organisation behind it, Impatient. Yes, you can see what they've done there, right? It's got patient in it. There's a play on inpatient, so you can see how it links into the medical system. But they're saying they're impatient. They want to get on with it. They don't want to wait. They don't want to do the due diligence. You know, it doesn't matter. As he just said, that was the founder, by the way. He said we're dealing with life and death, aren't we? So we should probably thought, but actually no. Let's just get on with it and continue to innovate. And this is the mentality that is infecting the whole of the health system. We talked about this on Friday. We talked about the commercialisation of the NHS. We talked about the fact that it's now a £200 billion a year captive marketplace where the state essentially works with a hand-selected group of big pharmaceutical companies and technology companies to deliver care, supposedly, to the population. But actually, when you dig into it and you look at culturally and ideologically and sort of tonally what's going on here, it's extraordinarily dangerous, I think, here. So let's read a little bit more about the event. So they talk about it being for the impatient, it's for the disruptors, the weirdos, the renegades. We welcome life sciences leaders, industry newbies, service providers, patients, HCPs, medials, and more. Our makeup is diverse, but our unifying principles are simple. We are united by the idea that our best days are ahead of us, not behind us. Almost triumphant kind of tone to this, and it is mainstream, right? This is not some kind of fringe niche event. It is relatively new, popped up last year. The first one happened in 2023. But they have most of the major pharmaceutical industry represented: GA, AstraZeneca, Novartis, Novo Nordisk, Sanofi. They've got a bunch of universities in there as well. And these are very, very senior people. So you've got people in senior vice president positions, people who are leaders in their organizations coming together at this event, Pharmageddon, to talk about the future of the pharmaceutical industry. And what's on the agenda? So they talk about this idea of a whole new world. This is from the European event that's coming up in September, on my birthday, actually. Maybe I'll have a little trip to Amsterdam. That would be fun. A whole new world. We're going to be pushing new frontiers. It's about more than medicine. We want to propel ourselves into a new kind of healthiness. So this is all of this proactive care. I forget the term that they use off the top of my head, but essentially what this is leading to is an always-on, 24/7, digitally enabled health system that's tracking you, monitoring you, and these are the people that are building it ultimately. They want to completely transform the health system. So actually, you can see the section there called taking responsibility. They actually want the pharmaceutical companies to take an active role in building the health system, which is completely unprecedented. Absolutely not something that should be happening, in my view. They again, sort of culturally, tonally, you can see in the top right hand side. I'm not going to say the word effed up leadership, right? So this is the tone and the culture that's coming through from this organisation that's going into building the future of the health system in Europe. I mean, this is literally what they're there to do. They talk about being values driven. They talk about focusing on precision medicine and artificial intelligence, the power of data, and essentially having this total knowledge and ownership of the patient in order to maximize profitability. And I've just run out of time, so I won't go through the US agenda, but it is essentially the same thing. And I just wanted people to be aware that this event is happening and that this kind of ideology, this kind of mindset is now what is driving the health system here in the UK and elsewhere.
Okay, Ben, thank you for that. Well, as Mike said, there was a lot of common purpose language in that, particularly it's about disruption, it's about chaos, but failure is good. If you fail, don't worry, just get on and do your best and that will be okay. So really serious descriptors there, saying in a very dangerous pharmaceutical industry where mistakes result in people dying, it's okay to make mistakes. Pretty incredible stuff. Well,